We are Amy Cole Connect. We are a recruiting agency. So you are at Virtual Breakfast. Welcome to Virtual Breakfast. And it is a place for everyone to be who they are and who they need to be. We call it Get Your Professional Edge On. I'm here to help us get our professional edges on. I need it as much as everybody else needs it. And as a recruiter, Amy Cole Connect is an executive search firm. We are constantly on the phone with organizations about what they are hiring. So my role is really to try to help you understand what the marketplace is looking for. How do we best position you? My ultimate goal is to get you working, get you moving and shaking in a good way. And we also do career coaching and leadership and development speaking. Virtual Breakfast is an industry insight hour, not only of professional development, I call it inspiration, education, but also we have an industry guest speak on a topic, and that is hopefully opening up all of our ears and eyes. I will share with you one interesting thing about my world during all of this. When I engage someone else in another industry, I am seeing a pattern that I need to see for my own industry. I'm a recruiter is really my industry, and a speaker, right? And a coach. What's happening in someone else's industry in medical could be happening in mine. And that's what I want us to all put up the antennas about. And I say it because it's interesting. So look at cars, for example. The car salesman is going to have to shift the way he does his business, because today you are going to Carvana and putting in your code, and zzz, like a Pepsi used to come out of a vending machine, your now Range Rover comes out of the vending machine. Call me crazy. $60,000 item, $2.50 item. We're merging the way you and I do business. We're merging the way we do things. Lawyers, custody, joint cases, courtrooms online, how you and I are interacting online. All of these different things are so new and yet so happening. Not going to go backwards. You're not going to go backwards to having all these lots of 100,000 cars and all those big spaces. We're going to just see slow transformation of the electric car, right? This is a different way. Oil and gas are going to be less important. If anybody's doing any investing, a lot of people, good morning, Cindy Ray, a lot of people are investing in cannabis stocks. Why? Now it's legal in more states than it's not. So that will be a place, who's ever supplying even cannabis with packaging, a packaging company, right? It all is together. We are all, good morning. We are all in this together, in the sense that we've got to watch, good morning, Toni. We've got to watch how all of the industries are affected by digital transformation, by the change in oil and gas and all those different things. So anyway, I get excited because I then read all these different crazy things that have nothing to do with recruiting, and I should probably spend more time on that front. But it's this world that excites me, number one, and number two, that those industries help us figure out what else is happening in our industry and how can we be applicable. Let's talk turkey. Let's be relevant. Let's be applicable. So you know me, I'm Amy Cole. We are a family of four at my organization. My sister Lisa Waskelowitz is in the top, and my top. My husband Barry Sayowitz is business development up there. We also have some people that help us with sourcing and finding candidates that are not on this call. So this is informational. It's inspirational, right? It's for everybody. I want you to feel empowered. I want you to take a snapshot of the men and women on this call and link into them. Let's all grow our networks. This is our industry association breakfast. This is our chamber of commerce that you used to show up to and put the lead lips on and get excited to be there. Maybe you brought the donuts and that's how come you were fabulous. Let me tell you, sometimes bringing that donut sets you apart. You never know. So we are here to be stronger together and empower each other. But while I'm thinking of that, I do want to share a trick. Roll over with your cursor over everybody so that all of your screens say the name. I see Steve Rockstar Isaacson. Command Shift 3 will give you a picture of all of those people. Link into them this afternoon. Link into them after we finish. If there's things I can leave you with, again, this is how you start conversations. So that's a fun little trick that I like to give away, okay? We're always stronger together. Highly, highly, highly motivated cast of characters on this call. That I adore. So thank you for being here, and thank you for being that way. It is a new work-life paradigm, and that's kind of why we're talking. It is opening up. I would say many things in the COVID world are now considered the norm. So we've kind of lost that edge of the heaviness of it. Things are opening up. We're all being vaccinated and good things are happening in that direction. But it is still a very unique paradigm. And we're going to learn a great deal from Toni today, who is doing leadership and development and helping with build high performing teams for her organizations that she partners with. And it takes a new mind and a set of skills through which to excel right now in the professional market. And I want you to be ready to be ready. That's the other piece of the pie. I can't give you every single thing that's happening in our career coaching, but I will later on in the call. I can't tell you everything to help you, but I will share in later on how we can get together again. And if you are feeling right now discouraged, or maybe you're furloughed, or we still haven't found that fit, you know what? Don't worry about it. We can work together. We can try to figure out a strategy and some type of way. Henry Mark is shaking his head because we work together. He's adorable. And you know what? There is a strategy right now to getting out in the marketplace. I'm going to be very to the point. Amy Cole doesn't futz. Bottom line is, you have got to have your professional profile together. And this happens every week. We discuss your professional profile. 5 P's to your professional edge: your purpose, your brand, and your profile. These 3 are the tripod so that your stool does not waver. You need 3 strong stools. Your purpose is why you get up in the morning, and it shows. It's contagious. You want to weave that purpose into your branding. Brand those skills and expertise. Yes, you're great in sales, but do you do it strategically? Do you do it motivationally? What's your bottom line purpose in life? And what's that branding of that skill? Because I'm hiring you for your skill, but because you're branded. Toni and I are going to get into this a little bit later today. Your profile means all those 3 things are on your LinkedIn, your resume, your cover letters, your thank you notes when you write back after an interview. That's why that profile is critical. Your partnerships is your network right here. Building out those branded partnerships. They have to understand who you are so they can be marketing engines for you. That's so much fun when I work one-on-one with people that they can admit to me, and it's very honest. I'm sure I didn't really know what my husband did all day either until he joined me. Guess what? You don't even know sometimes what your cousin does, and you're together all the time shopping on a Saturday. But you really can't articulate what his or her worth would be to another company. If you can't articulate that very succinctly, how can you expect people that know you, who would put their life on the line to help you get a new gig? So that's critical. Your partnerships and your networking. And lastly is your positioning. Your purpose, your brand, your profile, your partnerships, and your positioning are the 5 P's to getting your professional edge on. So you know how I like to share all that stuff. We're going to talk a little bit more about all of this today. Today really is about getting your professional edge on, which I'm very excited. Last week, we talked a great deal, and I thought it was very fun. If you remember Michelle Tillers-Liederman, who was our host, not our host, but our special guest at our 25th Silver Jubilee, which now we're way over that. We're into 56, or I don't know what number we're on anymore. It's over a year. She said, I can fake it. I can't fake it, but I can frame it. This was last week. We talked a little bit about this, and I took it home with me. So I hope we took it home with us also. People are asking, hey, how you doing? And you feel you're supposed to say great, right? But the answer really is not so great in that case. This is what Michelle was teaching us about this. When in reality, you feel like you need a break, right? You're not sure. It's still Blur's day, which I think that's always funny. So reframing our feelings is helping us be more real. Reframing our situation opens up dialogue. This is another thing Toni and I are going to talk about today. We need to be sharing authentically. We need to reframe our situation, be honest, and show that vulnerability, right? We all know Brené Brown makes a killing out of vulnerability. I mean, I love that girl, right? It's about being authentic, being vulnerable. How all of us need to be honest. We're not just great, we're doing well. We can frame that. We know that that helps. But in fairness, we also need to be honest and authentic and say, I'm great, but this is discouraging. I'm great, but this has been taking double the time, and I'm not sure I understand why, and what am I doing wrong, right? And it's important that we share and connect. And so you don't have to fake it. as Michelle says, she can't fake it because she doesn't want to fake it. She wants to reframe it. Reframing it, simply put, it's just more authentic, right? And that authenticity is being honest with yourself. Where are you today? What are you going through? Is it the day that you get psyched and just up? I'm in the mood today. I'm in the mood. I'm ready to rock and roll, right? Let's do it. I'm happy. I can't wait to go start going to an office. It's a couple months away from me. 2 months, I think I'm going to go get a new office. Like, this is starting to build, right? And I'm being honest with myself. It's still tough. We're still going through it all. But finding productive energy, when we reframe things, it adds that productive energy, right? It helps you function. It helps you act. It helps you move forward. So last week we said, I can't fake it, but I can reframe it. I want to ask if anyone thought more about that. Would someone put in the chat if they did or didn't? Did anyone else think about that? It's a little bit like looking at the bright side, of course. Hold on, I see 8. Good morning, good morning. Thank you, Lisa Waskelos. Did anybody think of reframing? Nobody? Okay, it's all good in the hood. If you didn't reframe, you didn't reframe. That's fair enough. No worries. So why did that matter to me? I guess because I don't know. Has everyone met up with a friend like now that you're vaccinated twice and all that good stuff? Yeah, I know, right? It's awesome. So, it's this holy Toledo. It's the seeing of a friend, right? What a difference a day makes, what a difference vaccination makes, right? We inspire each other as friends. And I just took a day off and did a total outdoor day. Yes, exactly. Can't see the picture if you're standing in the frame. Exactly, exactly. Steve I love it. And, so we got together with friends, total outdoor day, hadn't seen everybody in over a year. And, I know that's what you guys are experiencing, right? Just being together. And the funny part is that, take a look at COVID. It helps us reframe friendships. Totally reframed it. It's it's fresh. Friendship is fresh again. It's new. It's, let me get dressed up for her. Let's think of something creative. How can we be outside together? One of my design director candidates, actually, who's a swim design director for Nike Swim, Portland, Oregon, said, 5 of us each brought a bottle of wine and we clackety, clackety, clack. I don't even remember what we talked about. Like, we get to reframe this. We're regrouping. We're sharing tales of the year, the good, the bad, the ugly. We're celebrating life, just the human connection piece, right? I mean, I was giving my 1, 2, 3 to my friends. And of course, I said pivotal for me this year was virtual breakfast. And it's been fabulous and I love it, yada, yada. You know that. And then I admitted, of course, because it's tiring. I said, but I'm crazy exhausted lately and I just don't have this big passion. When I started my business 21 years ago, on fire, 4 o'clock in the morning, getting an LLC, having all this fun. Then you go through the years of it and you go and you do this. But then everyone said, Amy, remember when you finally got that office? Remember when you hired your second person? Remember when? And it made me feel fresh. Like, everyone shared and recapped, but that friendship piece, and I want to just share and celebrate friends today, because I really feel like today I have Toni Navy on the call. And I always tell you, everyone that we speak to are dear friends in business and in life. But I don't know, it's just exciting to have the friendships out there. And I love it. And I want to make sure that we all give each other a chance to, sit in where we are, but be passionate about that kick the minute that you get it. When you get that kick, the journey is the richness, and having those friends remind you of the journey. We always say we are going to have probably ups and downs again. Pandemic is one thing, but who knows what's around the corner, right? And passion does come and go. I needed to hear that. You're right. I'm hanging. It's all good. I'm not zipping around at 100 miles an hour, so it felt okay. So instead of judging myself, right? If you guys are right now not in a place where you're constantly moving and seeing positive change, instead of saying, oh gosh, such a bummer, I'm just not motivated or don't have the mojo, sit in peace, take it in, and either share it with friends. We've talked a great deal about connecting and being honest and authentic so that it does help you continue. Also, they can remind you of your greatness, right? We can remind others of their greatness. Remind them of all people they've accomplished. If you're the one with the positive light for today, maybe tomorrow it's not yours. It's all good, but let's celebrate those friendships. Let's reach out to those friends. Let's reach out to that family, those business colleagues, right? Business people right now are also at an all-time flat line because they're stretched so many different ways. You know, I added a kick. I put on my Harry Winstons for you guys today. These are my Harry Winstons. I pull them out for big occasions. I wear them with a white t-shirt and jeans. I feel happy about that. It makes me light. So it's silly to be silly, right? And encouragement is free money. Did we talk about that once before? I think I said that. Free money, it multiplies. Absolutely multiplies. So let's do all we can to encourage each other, encourage a friend, be a friend. Um, Always be authentic, like Brené Brown says. If we can build that vulnerability with the people that we love and know like that, you know, that's the place that we should be right now. I think that's really the place where we are going to see a lot more momentum. If and I think it's just happening organically because of our what's happening with the vaccination, with kids seeing a little bit of a difference, graduation, school in September, all that great stuff. So anyway, you know how I feel, friendship and fellowship, and leadership fits right into this. Toni Navy, I want to introduce you and find you in the, I see you, my friend. Toni is a woman who is always contagious, contagious energy. She inspires those that she meets. She has that air about her, and you know her for many, many, many virtual breakfasts. We were together a great many virtual breakfasts, and she believes in the betterment of all. Period. The end. If that is not a way to live on a daily basis, I don't know what is, because that to me is so wonderful. If we all together move upstream, that really gets me. I get a little chill. That's exciting. That is a blast. That is, everyone's success is over the top. So fun, smart, and confident, Miss Toni Navy. You know how I adore you. I'm going to add you and add a little pin. How are you today? Oh, I don't hear you.
Can you hear me now? I wasn't even talking. Sorry.
Oh,
I
that's
was
good.
just, I was waiting for your cue. Good morning.
Good morning, girlfriend. So listen, I'm going to just say a little. Well, you lead. You tell me a little bit about you. Name, title, industry, and then you go there. Okay.
You got it. Toni Navy. Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here again, and very excited as a pandemic HR consulting expert. The industry is across industries because what I'm doing is all about return to work in 2021 and beyond. How do we create a safe, smart, and productive work environment as people are coming back to or returning to the office?
Okay. So I mean, you're a human capital strategist for companies. You're a leadership and development. I mean, you bring in VP of operations from large corporations like Hewlett Packard. You know what it takes to get this woven cloth, I should say, back together. I see my light going a little bit in and out, but I'm trying not to move. Okay. So, I mean, between leadership and development, training, you know, employee relations, processes, what is right now the buzz for a corporation? What is their number one concern?
I think it's a couple of things. One, even though you're seeing big corporations, and so for those that don't know me, I've been an HR director, I've been a VP of operations, I've, definitely, yes, Amy's right, done the side of building HR infrastructure for companies, basically leadership and workforce training and development, and then the communication aspect. So being able to see the side of running an operations of a business to linking that with people, policy, and protocols. How do we make sure that we're doing the ops of the business and building a business so it can grow and scale, but recognizing that it's the people that make the company move and shake, bottom line. And if you don't have productive people, you're not going to have the best operating business that you would under any circumstance. And these circumstances are, completely different. So when we talk about challenges, yes, people are looking at the business and they're looking at things that are going on, but they've shifted so much that they've kind of recognized and are starting to get in the flow of, this is a global world. People have either been, isolated. We are now moved online. We've now, gone through some of the snafus of how are we going to continue to operate if they did not lose their shirt, if they did not lose the business throughout the coronavirus in the last year. Now that we're returning to work, you have places like Best Practice Institute that is saying over 83% of CEOs want employees to return back to the workplace. So when you say what's the number one challenge, only 10% of the workers want to come back.
Right. What?
So in
Yeah.
that same study, so that is the number one challenge that they're having right now is this, we want people to come back. Workers don't necessarily want to come back. Some of them do, and that's generational, right? The younger generation coming in is saying, we haven't been in a work environment. We want the, support, and we want the camaraderie and the mentorship, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of your seasoned workers are saying, we love this flexibility.
Mhm.
So the number one challenge is as we reopen, even in California, June, I believe it's everything's back to quote unquote back to normal. But is it really back to normal? No, it's not. So the challenge is how do we bring people back? How do we do that in a hybrid work environment?
Mhm.
And for those companies that are saying we want our people back completely full time, how do they actually make that happen? Because even though there is a law that just came out and break in any time aims, but a law did come out last year that said, look, people are not able to use the coronavirus or being afraid of getting the coronavirus as a reason not to come back into the office. They
And they
cannot
were in the
use that.
beginning. They were in the beginning. Yeah,
Yes, but there's so many exceptions to the rule. So go ahead, and then
no,
I've got.
I know, and I want to listen. This is about us and helping men and women figure out how to navigate this new paradigm.
Mhm.
I am going to say, from a recruiter standpoint, Amy, Lisa, Barry, and my team, we are having a difficult time. We have 89 people one particular pipeline. It's this one pipeline, and we they want to hire 3 people, and those 3 people don't want to come into the office.
Yeah.
They loved them. We were clear with candidates, and guys, maybe I should share this a little bit on a recruiting side. If that is going to be a challenge for you to go into an office 5 days, be upfront with a hiring manager right away, because you're going to take yourself down a path that's not going to happen. This company is not accepting. They'll accept hybrid for about 5 more minutes. And then she said, we will have a full workforce here. This is a California company. She didn't say June, but she said, Amy, I'm only hiring someone that gets the 5 day a week thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have 3 women, fabulous, and they're disappointed. There's no flexibility. They keep calling back. Are you sure? I have a daughter at home.
Yeah.
Again, I'm running a business. I don't care you have a daughter at home.
Well, and you know what? I want you guys to hear what Amy just said. I'm running a business. I don't care that they have a daughter at home. And then there's going to be a lot of loss of great, productive, amazing people because they do have kids at home. In fact, when they talk about, the federal data right now is showing basically it's a half of public schools are open for full-time in-person classes. So what do you do with
How do
your
you, I know,
kids?
how do you, you're right.
Yeah, there's 60% of all fourth graders and 69% of eighth graders, they're still learning from home.
I know.
So there was one guy that was like, I want to go back to work, but I'm a single dad. I have a 6-year-old and I have a 9-year-old. They are at home from school 3 days a week.
Mhm.
So what is he supposed to do with them?
Okay, so let's talk about this for two.
And
Yeah.
and I'm sorry, and he's only working at FedEx, so it's not like he has buku bucks to be able to. And he's at FedEx in basically a driver capacity or
Yeah.
a different type of role where it's not like he has big bucks to have someone sitting at home with his kids for 3 days a week.
Okay, so let's be philosophical, you and Amy and Tony. It's the Amy Tony show. What do you think this will do? Because I have a CFO who's asked me to help her transition into hybrid. Not
Mhm.
really formally, she calls me more like a friend, but I'm trying to help and say, you know, what are some of the steps these companies can take so that we understand how we fit into it? Do you know?
Well, right. Well, even for my own self, there's a couple of companies that I'm pitching to actually do some work for that have this problem, right? Because the core issues are the daycare. They may have people that have high risk at home, and they're concerned about bringing it back home to their kids or their mother. Excuse me, not kids, but their mother
Yeah.
or someone's high risk. They're concerned about traveling on public transportation and then obviously coming back into the office, where some companies are not really ready and they don't have all protocols in place, even though people are saying that they really do. They do not. People are not prepared. They're not as prepared. Bigger companies, yes, because they have the manpower, they have the resources.
Right.
Companies that are small to mid-size, not necessarily. One
Right.
of the things that they are doing is partnering with other institutions that are providing daycare or are providing some of that classroom look and
Yep.
feel, even though public education is not. They're doing that in some cases on site, or they're partnering with them in a different location perhaps, but at least it bridges a gap for some of their employees that have that challenge where if FedEx did that for him or for his employees, this young gentleman at 42 would be able to bring his two kids on those 3 days,
Yep.
and they would still be able to go through their learning program. And that's a different thing than just daycare, right? People that are going to literally help their kids do their homework and things like that through the school day. That's a little bit different than just, I'm dropping my kids off at daycare, because you can't just drop your kids off at daycare and expect the daycare is going to help them with all their schoolwork for a full
Right.
structured school day.
Okay, so in fairness, then you and I are now applying for these jobs. We've got that is one of the things to think about. Do you think companies are going to, like J.C. Penney, Nike, Facebook, all these campuses usually have types of family care. Do you think they will? Do you think they'll start, or you think they'll just use the third party?
No, I mean, if there are companies that have it, they're using their stuff for
Yeah,
sure. I mean, why go to a third party? I'm just giving the masses don't have
I know.
on campus
89% of us
daycare.
don't.
So they've got to partner with, or they've got to see what they can do to provide a service. You are seeing, and that's one of the things when I am doing pandemic consulting right now. The biggest splash that's happening for me of going in is not everything I do in HR. It is, how do we communicate? How do we structure and create a plan for people to actually come back to work, or at least be in a hybrid situation? What does that look like? What does the office space look like? What are our protocols like? And how are we managing our employees from a virtual and an on-site stance? How do we get them collaborating, but we still have to tie it to their bonuses, to their performance management? A lot of people didn't get those things last year. And now that they're working from home, are we going to change their compensation if they've decided to move out of, location?
Very interesting. And these are all, yeah. So let's talk about the leadership piece. What do you think companies are doing differently now to help their leaders on their teams?
Well, one of the things that we're doing, and that I'm even doing for companies across the board are doing it, whether they have internal staff that's training their people, or whether they hire a person like myself as a consultant that comes in to deal with high performing collaboration and being able to manage performance of virtual teams as well as their diversity, right? Because they're looking at all these hot topics that are happening right now. They are training them to say, okay, what does it look like for us to change our behaviors, because we're changing our culture right now? Our culture has shifted for all time. There's nothing you can do. It is now, what do the behaviors look like? What do we expect from our people that are working home part-time or not? An example would be Salesforce. They're saying, hey, our protocol is flexible from anywhere. You can work from anywhere. That has shifted the entire culture, because people are still being productive. They still have their metrics in place. They're putting in place tools, software, or Microsoft Teams. Yes, they're leveraging Zoom. Yes, they're leveraging Slack. But what they're now doing is seeing, hey, we can measure the content, the data, and the actual actionable results that are coming in, and they're showing that their people are productive.
Yeah.
One of the things they're doing is how do we get people to stop working a 12 to whatever hour day just because they're home? Not everybody's doing that, but poor performers they are bringing in. But they are training managers to step back and do the leadership everywhere kind of thing, meaning you can't micromanage someone that's working from home virtually. So you're retraining them on what to expect and what the behaviors look like from a person working at home, and then making sure that they're still doing enough touch where all of the employees are collaborating and connecting together and being able to actually still get work done and be productive, whether they're in the office or remote.
Yeah. Do you think there's any tricks to engage people on video? Like, what would you say are some of the?
Geez. You know what? It totally depends on the culture of the company. There are no tricks. I forget which company it was. They had a rule of 30-minute meetings and no meetings on Friday, and then they just stepped it back to 25 meetings. 25 minutes per meeting. One of the things I'm finding as I'm training, and I am giving this tip to my leadership,
Yeah.
is we are now using Microsoft Teams as a platform. Zoom is still good also, and I'm still using Zoom for other things. But Microsoft Teams has a thing where the engagement has to be up leveled. The requirement is for people to truly be on video. The engagement is up leveled, meaning if I have, for example, if I have a slide on the screen, people have their own cursor where they can click and it can show that they're actually being interactive during that meeting, and they're
Like a
clicking,
whiteboard
you know,
concept, like an interactive whiteboard?
exactly, but it's showing up, hey, everybody needs to respond. What would you select? So they're having to select and their name shows up. And if you're not on there actually participating, then they know you're not engaged in the session. And that's unacceptable. So that's what I also mean by the change in the behaviors is, okay, we're not only just expecting you to just be there online and you can be on the phone because you're doing 50 minutes. No, there's still work time that is required for you to be engaged with us as we collaborate, because we need people to actually really be able to work even though they're working from home. You may have kids at home, but you also, and that's the other thing, they're looking at helping, you know, parents be able to identify how do they keep things in their workspace at home contained so that they can be present for work.
Right. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so we had a man speak on from Salesforce, a sales specialist from Salesforce, and he, when I know him forever, it doesn't matter. I called him up and he goes, "Well, I usually don't show my video." I said, "Well, because I said, what's your background look like? When I invite people on the call, I really want to make sure that I don't, you just in case I throw it out there. I'm thinking everyone's got it together." And he said, "Oh, I usually just, they don't." He said, "I usually just show my face." I said, "Steven, you're kidding me right now." And he giggled. I said, "You mean to tell me all of your senior management? Oh yeah, we're all just video. We're all pictures of ourselves." I know.
Yeah.
And I said, but this is, and I don't want to go too philosophical because it's not the time, but at the same, this is what's going to change in this human connection piece. I'm talking about that friendship that allows you to be vulnerable. How are you today? You can be honest and speak. Now we're at 25-minute meetings, no time to chit chat. Like there is going to be, I believe we're going to see cultural shifts in how we all address everything. Like some of
Mhm.
us are saying, I'm happy that I haven't been over programmed for all of COVID. I agree. But then when you're with people and you feel a new sense of kick, right? Just because of being with other people,
Yeah.
we're going to start to accept that that isn't what we're used to, you know. Or I've got a lot of college students. I'm going to say college students. I haven't found this with my executive leadership, but they didn't get to interview firsthand. They had to send in 3-minute videos on why they would be good for the job, a 3-minute video on what they know about that company and what they
Mhm.
can bring to the table. Just 3 questions are sent to them on an email with a portal. Go ahead and record.
Wow.
Now, and then they're finally thought of. So their resume was liked. Now throw it in the portal. Now it's up to you. And these are happening with a lot of tech firms too. Now we'll put someone like honestly, kind of a screener, not an HR director or not an executive person that you'd work for, and they'll screen how you'll interact with us. Now, what about the culture they're not showing the student or the person who's hiring? That doesn't give you a good, warm, and fuzzy feeling about that company.
Well, I mean, true, and a
Or is
lot of
that just the
companies are
way it goes?
a lot of companies are just doing the best they can because they haven't shifted everything. It's only been a year. Look how much time it takes to even build a culture as you're, moving and shaking. And to your point in regards to video connection and all those things, it really is sad. And they have not been coached. That company that has all those images on the screen, they haven't been coached. Just like everybody on here, you definitely have to start practicing being able to deliver on video simply because of a few reasons. People are looking at the way we connect differently. Email for certain things, a text for certain things.
Mhm.
The more connection you have, if we can't connect in person, the visual on video is the most important because we have all of these nonverbal cues that we're giving and delivering. Even as we're connecting via video right now, you and I are connecting in a different way. And look at your expressions on your face, your eyes, all those things make a big difference. And we're evaluating that in regards to how a person can respond. So the more comfortable you can get on camera, the more your true personality and that connection comes across, because that's the best we have right now in a remote environment. And that goes along with even the kids that are now having to videotape themselves
Yeah.
doing an interview. It's no different for them as it is for professionals that are in their, 50s, 60s, 40s, whatever age. Everybody's now having to do some form of a video.
And that's a
And
little
your LinkedIn profiles and other things should have
yeah.
gifs or videos or things where people can assess your capability right there online.
You're absolutely right. And that's what Stephen and I were kind of talking about with just showing the video. He said, "Well, it's only my team." And I thought, "You're in sales. I now have men and women that send me a Zoom link. Listen, we've got a call in 15 minutes. Here's my Zoom link. And I'm like, oh, I not. And I quickly put the red lips on, because I thought it was just a call. But now it's becoming the second nature that we should get on Zoom.
Yes.
What do you feel? Let's talk a little bit about the DEI thing very quickly. That companies are making this a priority of sorts. What's happening for you? You're seeing it. You're a big part of that.
Yeah, I'm doing it. In fact, I'm getting ready to work with Ross Stores and I'm getting ready to do some work with Netscope, which is a Silicon Valley cloud computing company. And diversity is still big. And I think it's big for two reasons, not just because of just the most recent yesterday, conviction or basically guilty on all accounts and the things that are still happening, the mass shootings and, the brutality. But when we talk about the aspect of culture, it's not just about even one race. This is a global marketplace.
It
Look
is.
how many people we have that are of different cultures, of different backgrounds. And I don't mean differences of thought and all of that little hoo-ha. I'm talking about people that have been born, they speak a different language, that are completely, somebody that may be disabled. Even I read in the Wall Street Journal, the autism,
I
people that are
know.
autistic and the different impact that it's having them working at home. Some people are losing it because they're not accustomed to that isolation. For some people that are autistic, it is very good because it gives them time to process information, because it takes them a little bit more time.
Yeah.
So when we see the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, yes, you can have diversity, but if they're not inclusive, they're not going to stay long. So what happens is now it is us learning how to connect with each other and see each other, really say, who are you? Where do you come from? People need to learn how to recognize and respect, trust, and be able to connect with people from all different cultures around the world, because now we are working remotely with people that are from India, and they're talking like you and I, from India, from China, from Japan, Australia. It doesn't matter. How they connect with you comes from their cultural background, their history, where they're from, how they grew up. And if you're not willing to actually absorb and learn a little bit about those things, then you lack the ability to make better connections that other people are making, which increases their emotional intelligence and ability to collaborate. And so we're training people to deal with those kinds of behaviors, shift in the corporate culture, but
Mhm.
also being able to understand, okay, I have to approach working with people and appreciating the differences much more effectively. And that's training, that's some of the protocols, but that's also leadership committing to, we're going to change how we do things, how we connect with each other, and how we do business with even our constituents, because they are no longer doing business with people that aren't focused on some aspect of diversity.
No, and I have to say, and I
Sorry, I'm about to choke. Excuse
no,
me.
get a sip. Steve, I just put in, we have 800 languages spoken in New York City. We are an exceptionally diverse environment, which is amazing. What I think, and I'm speaking a great deal to my leadership teams that are hiring, is that the diversity brings innovation and new thinking. And that's
Mhm.
really what this is all about. I mean, I agree it's a numbers and you got to plug in and plug and play, but if we can, in the continuing of embracing it, it's allowing us, the older, okay, there's an age situation. Hire someone 60 and 65 for the wisdom that they understand in strategy. Let someone else do the technology part that isn't their forte. Marry two minds. That's to me what DEI talks about, inclusivity. Marry the minds of all these different backgrounds. And so that you
Mhm.
have better solutions, creative solutions to problems that sets your whole organization in a better place. And also, I know DEI comes up a great deal with, if your consumer base is diverse, you bet your bippy your workforce better be diverse, or you're not attracting and speaking authentically to your consumer base.
Right, right. And
Yeah.
they haven't been for years, right? And it hasn't been as big of an issue because people have just let it go. But now people are looking at it and people are losing business as a result.
Correct. And I'm watching it with some small companies I staff that are really struggling. And then the other guy that isn't struggling is more flexible. Toni, I ask everybody, and thank you for this, but I want two questions. Number one is, what do you think men and women right now should be focused on that are applying and talking to corporations? Do you think it's more their business acumen skills, their soft skills, their leadership skills? What type of percentage would you say, or what would be your answer if it's not those two?
Um, Well, that was loaded. So
I know,
let me unpack that.
yeah,
No, it's
yeah.
okay. So
I mean,
I would say, I would say two things. If you are applying for work right now, it really is your ability to leverage digital automation tools. And what I mean by that is your tools that present yourself, not just having a LinkedIn profile. I mean having assets, what I call marketing assets, things like videos or things like projects or blogs, things that allow people to make a better determination or decision about your capability, because they're not just looking at you initially or your profile. They're looking at your profile, they're checking out who do you know, they're checking out, okay, does this person have a video? Do they have documents, things that we can see that demonstrate their work and their capability. I think the second thing is your willingness to be more flexible with companies. Yes, coming in, not coming in, those things are going to be very critical in who you're choosing to look at, but also your ability to collaborate with your team more effectively in a hybrid or a on-site off-site situation. Your ability to, and you said emotional intelligence, and if you didn't, I'm saying emotional intelligence, meaning how you connect with people now has to be a game changer. You need to start learning and listening and thinking about that, being able to connect with all people of diverse backgrounds, but also being able to connect and collaborate just with your teams, period, electronically or otherwise, being able to do a better job of making those connections quick. And then, yes, the third thing is you have to have it down where you're not only able to get your work done, but you're able to show the results in a tangible way.
yep.
And so what I mean by that is hey, you have a process or a way for working. You have, these are the things that you deliver and you're tracking your own results, because the more you can be better at delivering your, think about your performance reviews over history. You would kind of log your own things, your accomplishments and things like that. Now it's not you just having a log of your own accomplishments, things like that, so that you can look at the performance reviews as we move forward, but it's you also marketing some of those, like putting them on LinkedIn or in your internal, so people can see what you're doing, because they're not seeing you in the same way. So they need to be able to refer back to those points of information that they wouldn't necessarily be able to do, or that they would be able to do if they were just face to face. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Am I saying that right?
You said it right, and I'm going to reiterate it in a second, but absolutely, because it's all about what's in it for the company, what's the benefit you've brought to the company. And if you and I are not at a coffee table building rapport with that man or woman who is senior and has the ability to promote you slash get you a better salary slash think of you for another opportunity in another division,
Hmm.
this is what we are, and we need to do even a better job of packaging it and articulating it humbly, I always say humbly, yet boldly, with the benefit to that company. And that is something that we work on a great deal. Toni, I love you to death. Hang tight. We'll get some questions from the audience if we will in a second. But I'm just going to jump in and talk a little bit about that, because here's what we talk about in the coaching piece. And there's a few men and women that have coached with me, and I am sharing this lovingly, saying, if you can't articulate your core competencies and the brand that you bring to the table, Toni and I do not need you as a leadership on our team. Most men and women on this call are in leadership roles. They're in the season of their careers. I know many of you, and I love you all to death, but I am encouraging you to, if that is any type of insecurity, if you're feeling not super clear, and I go back to your cousin, Ken, your cousin that you shop with and go to Zara and grab that cute new blazer every 3 weeks because you guys have a good time together, does he or she really know what you bring to the table? We
Hmm.
are still getting jobs through a network. Let me be super clear. Amy Cole Recruiting, Lisa Amy Berry got 5 jobs to fill last week. I should have raised the roof, right? The recruiting world is opening up because now people are shifting and clients need to be served. They had to cut their staff. Now they're updating again. Now they can't keep up with it because their HR department was the first to go. It was expensive, blah, blah. They're now calling recruiters. I'm finding they're giving you the hard jobs to fill. That's fine. We'll take them. That
Yeah.
shows the market is opening. But I have just as big a challenge to get you guys packaged to present to that company, because they feel like you need to be the Messiah because there is a large gene pool available. So all of this shift in the dynamic employment landscape, diversity, ageism, okay? If you feel there's ageism, I'm going to pick at this to talk about right this minute. We have even more of an important mission to accomplish. What's in it for them? What is the benefit to that company by hiring you over? And I will tell you right now, your strategy, your calmness, your wisdom, your thoughts, okay, that came with age of going through the ranks of other opportunities, of dealing with different types of bosses, right? Right now, companies are turning on a dime. Whoop, let me try this. And they're either winging it, a lot of young technology e-com companies totally winging it, and then it hits and then they can't either produce or something like that. Or that's where you come in and say, listen, I know I'm not Susie fresh out of school, I know I'm not your e-com queen, but I will tell you what merchandise will perform on that site, because I understand your target audience well enough, and I understand how we need to speak to that target audience and can direct your marketing team, because that's what I did forever, right? Nothing's changed except the platform. So anyway, I want to invite you, Lisa, if you want to throw a link to my calendar in the chat, if someone would like to discuss how to get themselves to move forward in an executive level. We've walked away from Job Search University, which was our weekly, so that I can better fit. I find we benefit people in a greater way with this VIP intensive, which helps you build that confidence, package your core competencies, brand yourself out, and update your digital footprint, as Toni mentioned, your LinkedIn, so that you look branded right now. You show your worth to that company. Everything you say, you're not just in sales. I am in sales to increase the profit margin of this company. That's what you are. Company wants to increase their profit margins. That's why they're hiring you. Not because you're great with people, not because you took John out to lunch and you opened up that new account. All the bottom line for the company. So it's how we package that. Okay. So let's say hello. And I'm going to just take a quickie. Lindsay, I see you. I don't know where you, what is your, add a pin. Miss Lindsay, how are you? Name, title, and industry.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lindsay Gerber. I'm new here. This is my first breakfast. Excited to be here. I connected with Lisa a couple of weeks ago. I'm looking for a new opportunity. I was the head of wholesale at AG Jeans, overseeing their men's and women's business, and have extensive experience working for both global luxury brands as well as contemporary brands. Building amazing sales teams, mentoring and nurturing young talent, and then building those sales and distribution strategies.
So what is happening in your world? We like to talk openly. It's no judgment zone. Is it you applying to black hole? The opportunities aren't great. The salary isn't great. What's happening? Or
well, I have 2 kids, so I was laid off in June, and then kind of made the difficult decision to stay home with my kids during remote blended learning. Now they're going back to school part-time, but okay. I've been vaccinated, yay. So I'm looking to go back full-time. So recently been looking. It's been challenging, just continuing to reach out to people in my network. I have great relationships with both department stores and specialty stores, and people that I've worked with in the past, and just staying in touch.
Yep.
Using LinkedIn as a great resource, and
yep.
Joining calls like this.
Yeah. Well, welcome sincerely, and thank you. It's such a treat to have you. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You'll get to know us. We're really kind of a lighthearted community, and then we get down to it. I think that's a piece of, I'm the goofball, and then you come to Amy Cole and I can cut to the quick. But I'm going to be transparent with you. The marketplace. It is by knowing somebody. We call it the hidden job market. The job isn't posted on LinkedIn because they don't want to deal with 238 resumes, and that's what's happening. Who told us? I forget now. Someone received 500 and something resumes for a job.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, sorry. I'm not muted.
Yeah, Tony's not, Monica's laughing. Yeah. Anyway, and that's of course when they then call and say, listen, I can't vet these people. I go through the first 30. I found 2 that looked okay, so I called them. And then it's just the constant. So the hidden job market is the network that and we always talk about this, and everyone does know this. I want you to call a friend on this call. How's it going in your job search? What are you finding? Someone might be using something that you do not know. Okay. Someone might have a way to get in touch with an HR director that you do not know, but they have tried it. So I always believe that, we're stronger together. We're better in numbers, and it is a communication tool. just networking is the communication tool. It's not just networking. Your network is your net worth. I am the queen. Amy Cole Connect is the name Connect for a reason. It is sheer joy that I learn from people. I read a little and listen a lot. You know, people teach us what's going on in our industry. Where should you be in the denim market right now? Is there somebody that's doing such a hot e-com denim business they can't live without your knowledge on fit, on consumer, on channel distribution, right? But it's e-com, or don't go take that job. That's all there is to it, you know? So very nice to meet you. Say hello again. Please come back. Please come back. Love it. I also, let me see. I see Lisa Fillingham is with us today. Jim Chi, I thought of Jim Chi the other day. Hold on. Lisa Fillingham, are you quiet? I saw you in the text. Okay. Jim Chi, tell us what's going on in your world.
Hey everyone, Jim Chi, Portland, Oregon, primarily focused in the sports world. Yeah. And I love dropping in on Amy's breakfast sessions here occasionally, just to see what everybody's up to, and just to hear what's going on, because I think a lot of the members here are East Coast focused, so love doing that. You know, just to, I guess what I'll share here is that encourage everybody to listen to what Amy and Toni have shared today. The pivot is real. There's a lot of companies, larger global sports brands that are making those pivots as we speak. Mm-hmm. So if you ever thought about crossing over from any of the fashion or luxury brands into the sports world, they're dealing with a combination of hybrid work. How much contribution you can make online versus in person, you know, and I think if anybody's paid attention to the sports brands, one of the major brands is cutting their wholesale brick and mortar channels. They're eliminating them as customers because they want to take those revenue dollars in-house as a direct to consumer or specific partnerships in certain retail channels where you've got a dominant player that they can basically gain leverage over. So the industry is transforming. So if you're making those transformations along with what's happening with the brands, I think that dramatically improves your chance and helps to give you a step up on others in terms of joining those organizations.
You know, Jim, I'm going to jump in and say this one thing, and I think you will concur. A woman from Leap, Rebecca Fitz, was on our call. Now it's so many weeks ago, I can't remember. She is in pop-up retail. So Faraday Brands is an example. Something Navy is an example. Nadam Cashmere. You know, these are independent, small boutique brands that you and I had to buy because they're sustainable and they had all the corporate social responsibility behind them, and they had the marketing behind them. They received so much buzz online that my stepson said, Amy, this is a company you guys should staff. I was like, you know, okay. And it turns out they were huge. Long story longer, she is now all over the country finding retail spaces for a 2-month period, 8 months. They're setting up this store. And yes, and so her company also plays third party, to Tony's point about third party outsourcing healthcare. They're not healthcare, home care. They're outsourcing the staffing of that retail brand also. So here's a real estate company that's really in brand real estate to help consumers purchase a product. They now have to, she's now in real estate negotiating contracts, right? Leases, pardon me. She's also staffing. Look at what all these companies are taking on so that they create this hub and a wheel so that every new brand can go, hey, I better call Leap. They'll get us the top 5 locations. We'll open up 5 pop-ups. It's their problem. I just ship them the box and they put the garments out. I mean, different way. Lucky Brand said, I'll buy that spot. I'll get a 10-year lease. I'll send Lucky employees. I'll send Lucky jeans over there. So you're right. And how do we hear about those places? It's just, you got to take it all in. You got to read it all. Consumer packaged goods are the same, guys. So I don't want us all to wear this blinder of apparel. I really want to say that openly. To Jim's point about sports clothing is that you're still in the apparel world. But we've got to watch it. It's happening in making insulin needles. It's getting product to people in home. Home is on fire. I am now staffing a company that has 5 e-com for home. 5 e-com sites and a gift box for home. I should have him speak. Who's having a gift box for home, right? You think about the cosmetic companies that do all that idea. So he took that idea, and now every 3 months, you get 4 boxes a year. If it's Easter, it's bright spring colors, and you just update your kitchen corner. Not a huge renovation, but it's a spring deal for $79 and they get a kick out of it. Your mother gets a kick out of it. Joy, experiential, right? Experiential right now is key. Jim, good to see you, my friend, always. Thank you for being up so early. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, Stuart, what's going on in your world? You got a couple minutes. Oh, you're on mute, my doll.
Well, not much. I've been interviewing, and the biggest challenge is the amount of time I've been out of work. No, I'm in Treasury. Been in Treasury for 20
Ever?
years, and I'm pretty seasoned, and Treasury departments are downsizing due to the pandemic, and roles have been changing. Also, I'm getting older each and every day.
No, you're
So,
not. You're getting gorgeous.
And so anyway, I've been one of the filters of the HR departments are indicating to me that I've been out of work for so long, and they have a concern. So I remind them about a few things. My tenure in my last company was over 10 years, and I've been doing some consulting, some volunteering, webinars. No, I've been trying to keep up with the pace of everyone else.
Yeah.
Still, that's a big hurdle now of my tenor being out of work, and it's getting very, very frustrating when people ask me that question. To me, it's self-explanatory. A lot of people are out of work. I'm one of those people.
Yeah. Well, I would have to say, in fairness, it is kind of common right now that men and women are out of work for quite a bit of time. And I think it puts you guys on a playing field. Are you actually getting that physical response, or is this something you're feeling? You're getting
No.
that.
Yes.
You're getting that physical. Toni, do you want to say anything to this? Yeah, it's hard. Unmute. Yeah.
Sorry, there you go. Thank you. Thank you so much for your comments, because Stuart, you're absolutely right. It doesn't make sense that people are saying that, but they are. And I think that, that just may not be your place to go. But yes, I am seeing quite a bit of the whole discrimination and from an ageism standpoint. Whether people are saying it or not, it is happening.
I think it's ageism more than the out of work time. Yeah.
Absolutely. If he's been in
don't-
Treasury for 10 years, come on. And then this just happened. There's, millions of people that are out of work as of the last year because so many businesses have gone topsy-turvy.
Sure.
Now, what is going to be for you, Stuart, and then I'll let you go, is, bye, Jim, is you looking at evaluating your skill set and looking at other industries where they could leverage your skill set, your expertise and wisdom. And sometimes that may be going to a smaller company that would rather have your level and breadth and depth of expertise that they can't pay for in a younger person right now, but they can afford you, and they may not be able to pay you the big bucks big corporation could, meaning, Treasury, and I don't know that kind of salary, but what they are paying is for your expertise and longevity of work that, they wouldn't get otherwise.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, Toni, thank you for saying that. Yeah, it's a transferable skill thing, but I know that you passionately love your work too, Stuart. So that's, you and I have spoken about that. So it's still the navigation and the calling of each other and building that out. And if you, give me a holler if you want to talk a little bit about how you're presenting yourself. We can definitely sit down and talk about that. Guys, thank you very much. Miss Toni, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I love you. It's so good to see you, sunny California. Guys, we will see each other next Wednesday. Have a great have a great week. Have a great week. Keep the love alive. Get excited and find that little passion by being vulnerable with friends, because they're there to remind you of all the great things that you have done in this journey and all the great things that are coming. I have complete and utter faith. We are living in a place where things are opening up. And I know that Stuart's got a job around the corner. And I mean that from the guts, guys. We have got this. We will open up doors and things will continue to happen the more we communicate and the more we work together. So big fat love. We'll talk to you guys later. All right. Bye.